What's going on, everybody? So, we're going to be doing a little look at the upcoming, promising looking MMORPG, Wildstar. One thing you guys need to know about me is that I love MMORPGs. I'm usually pre-ordering them and in the MMO scene quite heavily, so it's not always going to be just console games. And so, without further ado, let me get logged in here and we can take a look at this. And basically what I'm going to do is I am going to just show you guys some basic character creation, and then I'll show you a little bit of gameplay. But for now, let us just go in and create a new character. So basically you have your two factions. You have the Exiles, which are basically a group of like rebels, refugees, that whole kind of feel. And then you also have the Dominion, which are like these well-funded, evil, kind of hardcore, rash sort of people. And so to begin, let's just take a look at the Exile side. So you have your standard human class, or human race rather, both male and female, of course. You have an interesting race called the Orin, which are kind of like these like fairy, pixie, cat, mouse kind of people. It looks like something straight out of an anime. Yeah, you get it. You have the Granox. I'm probably not pronouncing that properly, but these are basically these like stone people. Really huge and brutal, as you can see, and they're like your token, brute warrior kind of guys. You can make them other classes too, but that's just what they seem like. And you got the women on that side too. And it's been a little bit laggy on the game. Look at them dies and that ass. You have the Mordesh. This is like my favorite race on this side. Basically, these are kind of like a like undead cybernetic, like cyberpunk people. They're cool. Basically, it's undead that were brought back, and then I guess and have like cybernetic gear attached to them. I got the race information over here. It doesn't really say anything about them being undead, but they like rely on machinery, as you can see. And now let's go take a look at the races on the Dominion side. You've got your same, standardized kind of human races for male and female both. Then you have this race here called the Draken or Draken, and they kind of are this like demonic bestial sort of race. This guy looks kind of goofy, but you can make them look pretty cool. And there's also a female variant to that, and she's kind of hot. I'd hit that probably. You've also got the Chua Chow. I don't know how to pronounce it, but basically they are like fucking Hamtaro. They're like little rat hamster people. I don't know. I wouldn't take them seriously. I'm probably going to play on the Exile side just so I can kill these guys. And then we have the Mechans, which are quite possibly like my other... tied for my favorite race as far as how cool they are. Fully robotic race, and you can make them look absolutely awesome. The females look kind of weird. It's just weird to have kind of like a female robot, but I mean, it's cool. So now let me go to human, because some of the races have specific classes they can and can't be. The humans, of course, are able to be all the classes. And so let's talk about the classes now. We have our standard warrior, and from what I've gathered on the website, the warrior relies on, large two-handed weapons, and they also have, I believe, an arm cannon, if I'm not mistaken. So that might be kind of an interesting mix of in-your-face combat as well as ranged combat. We have engineers, heavier weapons. They have robotic companions that follow them around. They utilize technology and stuff, so... you've got your engineer. Then you have a class called Esper, which from what I can gather uses sort of a glaive, and they have like illusion magic. I assume they make illusions and telekinetic thing, maybe kind of like mental magics, if you can imagine what I'm talking about. You have your standard medic class, which is I guess the healing class, and one thing that I think is hilarious is those defibrillators where they rub them together and go clear and shock someone on the chest. I saw a medic running around using those as weapons, like shooting energy balls out of it. I don't know about all that. Moving on, we have Stalker class, which is cool. This is like your token rogue class. They can stealth. They use like claws to do their attacks. You know, if you get behind the enemy while stealth, you do more damage. Your standard assassin rogue class. And then you have this very interesting class, which I think is actually going to be my first main character. You have what's called a spell slinger, and basically this is kind of like a mage, but not really. You have dual wield like pistols, and you launch magic from the pistols, but it comes out looking and sounding like a gunshot. So I kind of think of it as like a mage who channels their magic through like pistols. You could think of it that way. I also like to think of it as just being like a straight up Billy Badass, because I imagine myself running around like a trench coat with like 2 revolvers, like some straight up, you know, Dante style stuff from like Devil May Cry. So really cool system there. Moving on, you choose your race and your class, but then you have something called Path, and basically what this is, it hasn't been completely explained, but I kind of imagine this as like your storyline. It's going to affect your storyline quests and kind of your profession maybe. You have Soldier, and from what I've noted, you randomly throughout the level find either you're given hitman contracts to go kill a specific NPC that spawns for those who are soldiers, or we'll have what's called a holdout mission, where you basically go and you hold a point while waves of enemies come. You have a settler. I don't know anything about it. I assume you like build things or improve the world around you for other people. It's all about like building. You have a scientist, which is your straight up like, you know, you experiment with chemicals, you do research, kind of like a magey scientific sort of like class. And then you have explorer, which is all about, I guess, finding treasure, making maps, you know, secrets, finding old ruins, I guess, stuff like that. I'm not too informed on the paths, but anyway, what we'll do now is I'm going to customize. I'll customize a Mordesh for you guys, because they have I think one of the widest ranges of customability, and so obviously you can choose your sex, you can choose your face style. It's not super in-depth customization. But it is enough. You know, it's not like Skyrim or anything, but it's enough to make yourself look unique. So I like this one because you can kind of like see the teeth through there, and it looks brutal. So you have that. You can customize the face and change all the different things. Got that sweet chin action. You can. Everybody has a plethora of interesting skin colors. So you can have your skin looking any way that you wish. Hairstyle for this race is quite interesting. They have a number of different options. Look at those, like power cord dreadlocks, and you can even put them back in a ponytail and look like Cyrax off of like Mortal Kombat. There's your hair color, of course, which isn't going to change for this one, but if we had like you know, one of the normal hairstyles, this would change with the color, obviously. Eye color, which on this race actually makes a big difference because it changes all of your equipment on you. Facial accessories, this is going to do, like, you know, if you're wearing earrings, it'll do it for that. For this race, it kind of changes the headgear and gives you like some different like brutal options. And then there's body type. I don't like the fact that you can't really scale the body type custom, but they do have many different, you know, body types, from skinny to fat, weak to buff, everything in between, and every race has them. But the thing is, whatever height your race is, that's what height you're going to be stuck with. So we would go through and we do all that, but I'm going to, let's see, I'm actually going to cancel here. I have a couple of characters made here. This is my my spell slinger. I made this girl here just to see how possible it was to make an extremely slutty and attractive anime race. It is very possible. Here I've got my rogue. You can see that's like the starter claws. I know they look kind of derpy, but I'm sure you get cooler ones. And then you have my standardized warrior here, who looks like a complete badass from the side. Doesn't he kind of look like a Roman centurion, like statue or something? Anyway, but when you start off on the game, you start on a spaceship, and you kind of just you know, go through some intro stuff. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hop right on with this character here and kind of show you guys some of the world, what the world looks like around you. Basically, I'll show you a little bit of combat, and then we'll call the video good. This is just going to kind of be an introduction to the game, but I might make some gameplay videos and just, you know, do maybe like some let's plays or something for this, because I did pre-order the deluxe edition, because you know, I'm actually really liking this game. I'm a sucker for pre-orders a lot of the time, but this game is seeming quite enjoyable. And I think before I finish the video up, I'll go over with you guys what you get for pre-ordering. But anyway, here is the game. Please note I have the graphics scaled down majorly, just so we don't get any type of video lag. And as you can see, elements are still loading in. The HUD is very customizable. You can move the nameplates around. You can choose if you want stuff to only be shown during combat or all the time. You know, key binds, everything like that. And so it looks like, you know, it's kind of a basic setup. There's not too terribly many skills, but I'll just kind of go over a few things with you here. So of course you have your standardized, you know, movement. If you double tap the keys, you can dodge roll in any directions, and you have a counter over here where my mouse is, and as this bar goes up, that's your dodge rolls regenerating, and every class has 2. You might get more later on. I don't know how that works. Every class has these like innate abilities. Like warriors get rage, where for so many seconds they do more damage. For my class, it's a charge up shot, does that right there, and whatever my next skill is, if it's a charge up, it'll be cast almost instantly, it'll do more damage, etc., etc. Everyone can sprint by holding left shift. You can sprint, and you have a sprint meter here. Sprint comes back pretty fast. You have standardized jumping, but you also have double jumping, which kind of adds an interesting sense of exploring and parkour to the game. I know we're getting a little bit of video lag here. I'll try to get to an area that's not so expansive. Let me go over a couple more of just the HUD features here. You have your basic character page with your inventory. Some of the stats you have, like brutality, finesse, moxie, tech, insight, grit. Kind of interesting play on words with those. You can choose different titles. You have your reputations, mounts. Here we have the standardized skill page, and this just shows you all your skills that you unlock. And as you can see, there is not a ton of skills. I think I'm in combat. Yes, I am. Alright, let's do some combat here. We'll do a charge up shot. And as you can see, it's not a lock-on based game. It's basically kind of like if you've played Terra. It's real-time combat in the sense of when I use my skill here for a basic shot and I hover over it, it shows the arc of who will be hit whenever I use this skill. And that's pretty interesting because it kind of keeps you in the game. You don't just lock onto an enemy and press skills. Same with this charge up shot, you can see here, and I can release this when I get ready. This is an interesting dash where when I use it, you dash forward and anybody caught in that dash will be stunned. This is kind of a more mage-like ability that puts a fiery burning dot on them where it ticks 5 times, and on the 5th tick does insane damage. Let's go back to the skills page. As I was saying, there's not a ton of skills, as you can see. There's assault skills, support skills, utility. I mean, there's a good amount of skills, but it kind of seems like it's going to be simplified, almost like a Guild Wars or Guild Wars 2 experience, which I like that personally. I don't like having all walls of my screen just countless amounts of skills and keybinds to remember. Not that I'm stupid, I just don't like doing it. You have your experience bar down here, which you can choose to have that showing or not. You also have your path experience. So you level up as a soldier or researcher or explorer, and you also level up as your class. So I'm a level 4 spell slinger and a level 2 soldier. What that means, not entirely sure. But so this is the standard gameplay. This is how it looks. Combat's really fun and fluid, very simple. As you can see, the graphics are very colorful and they're high fantasy, but I think it's kind of a breath of fresh air because a lot of MMOs are very dark, dreary, realistic, brutal graphics, and it's kind of fun to go back to something a little more cartoony in a sense, not too terribly cartoony. as you can see, we're getting into some kind of more ugly, depressing areas moving on from this zone. But I like it. I like the art style. It's very polished. It kind of reminds me of a polished World of Warcraft almost. And let me just reaffirm here, these are the graphics turned down incredibly low. As you can see, I have the textures high on my character, but I did this just so the video wouldn't lag too terribly bad for you guys. The graphics amped up all the way look very nice. I have no complaints about the graphics whatsoever. So just a little introduction to the game here, but now let's take a look at my favorite feature of the game, as well as pre-ordering the game and what you get for doing that. Alright guys, and so basically what I've done here is I've put together a slideshow for you of my favorite feature, which will be player housing. This is something I really like to see in MMOs. You don't see it too often. Most notably, I remember it in Ultima Online, as well as EverQuest 2, and maybe 1, I believe. I don't remember. But that being said, basically, you have the option at some point in the game to buy a plot of land that has been literally ripped up out of the world and put onto a little space station hovering platform, and this plot of land will just float in space, and it's your land. When you get there, it kind of has an interesting, almost Farmville approach, because the whole area is overgrown with bushes and trees, and there's wild enemies, or wild animals and enemies on your plot of land. So you kind of have to clear this place and get it ready to build a homestead on. You have to cut down the trees, clear the bushes, possibly mow the grass, I don't know, clear all the wild enemies off of there. And then you can start building. Now when you first get it, all you're going to have is a tent and a campfire. But I assume as you kill enemies or do quests, maybe there's specific quests, it's not set in stone yet how this is. It hasn't even been discussed really. But you will gather materials, I assume, to start building your house. And basically these houses can start off small, but you can grow and build your house up to a huge castle. And what's interesting is these are not preset socket areas. These are, you can move the furniture anywhere you want. I mean, you can set a couch on its side and make it look stupid if you want to. You can do anything. And as you can see from these pictures, there's lots of room for customization. You can also build things that will be conveniences around your house, such as like a forge, a mine to get minerals and ores from. You can build gardens to harvest, I guess, certain materials from. Players will be able to visit your home. I've also heard talk that your home can be attacked and you'll have to come defend it sometimes. I'm not sure. But player housing is going to be an extremely focused on item, which I think is good. I mean, this is going to be Sims level player housing in an MMO. So I'm very excited for the player housing. And so that being said, let's move on to the final part of this little introduction to Wildstar that I'm doing for you. That being the special items that you're going to get whenever you pre-order the game, or even if you go that step farther and you get the deluxe version of the game. So I have two screenshots here from the official website of what you get, and it says Standard Edition plus pre-order. So this is what you get if you go ahead and buy the Standard Edition now before the game comes out. I believe in June 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Sometime in early June. So you get a housing decor item, Elden Technology, and I assume that means I think you'll probably be able to buy themes for your house. Maybe, you know, gives the floor kind of like a certain floorboard texture and a certain wallpaper texture. So I'm thinking this is going to be a theme called Elden Technology. It'll probably be very metallic and scientific looking. This next one that says Rocket House. This is going to be interesting, and this is why I'm going to say I think you guys should consider pre-ordering. This basically, from what I've gathered, gives you your own personal house that I think may be mobile, because as you can see from this picture, it shows this rocket landed on Earth. I don't know if you can call this thing down anytime you want to or not. But basically, this is what it looks like on the inside. It's very small, but I think it's a house that you can access from anywhere in the world, possibly. and it's a starter house. That's the big thing. You get this right away, so immediately you have a very valuable asset and resource to you for storage, certain conveniences, just a place to gather and hang out with friends. I think it'd be worth it for the pre-order. So don't know much more about it. Don't know if you can access it anywhere within the world. I'm just assuming you can. But let's move back now to the pre-order bonuses. Another one we have here is a housing decor item, mini ship statue. It's probably just a cool statue of a spaceship that you get to put in your house. You get a 10-slot bag, which is cool. You increase your inventory space right off the get-go. You get a pre-order title, which is chosen of the progenitors, I don't know. So, you get that standard title that everybody who pre-ordered will be wearing on opening day. You have character and guild name registration 2 weeks before launch. Now, that's cool. Basically, if you have a cool name for your guild or for your character in mind, you can go ahead and get that name registered right now. So whoever gets like Dracula or Frankenstein, you can be that guy. Access to all beta weekends, not such a great thing because we're kind of late into it now, I think. 7-day trial codes for friends, that's pretty nice. Head Start access, that's 3 days. I've studied into this. You get to get on 3 days before everyone else, which sounds like kind of a pretentious thing, but is good because on opening day, on public opening day, the beginner quest zones are going to be lagging like crazy because everybody's going to be flooding in. 3 days, you'll be ahead of everybody. And so as long as you keep on trucking, you probably won't have to deal with, all the beginners, flooding the area and lagging you up. And it comes with 30 days of playtime, which is good because most people can judge if they want to stick with an MMO or not within a month. At least I know I can. But now there's also one more thing I want to bring up. There is the Deluxe Edition plus pre-order, which means you can buy the Deluxe Edition or you can buy the pre-order edition and then buy the Deluxe Edition for $15. So we're going from $60 to $75 at this point. And what you get for this, you get Elden title, which is Sentinel of Nexus. You get Elden dyes, which I think basically means you'll have a package of dyes to immediately dye your gear. And then you have an Elden augmentation costume and Elden hoverboard. Well, this picture accompanies that, and as you can see from the picture, it seems to be some sort of mixture of like a tribal and futuristic style clothing. I assume those bright green colors may be the dyes, but what I'm most interested in is this hoverboard. Basically, it sounds like you're going to be able to get a mount at the start of the game, which actually furthers you distancing yourself from everybody flooding in on opening day, because this is going to make your questing and leveling process go by that much faster, since you'll have a mount right off the get-go, I assume. Let's move on to two final things. There are these items called boom boxes, and you get these on opening day, and they can contain a number of different crazy, wacky items in them. But the way you get these is every day you log in to the beta, which, by the way, guys, it's an open beta now, so there's no excuse not to check it out. Just Google Wildstar and click play now, and they'll get you all set up. These boom boxes, you get 3 of these, I think, every day you log in on the beta, and then when the final game comes out, you get these boom boxes, and they're random loot boxes. You can open one up every 24 hours, and it can contain a really huge, rare, epic, like mount or gear or pets or who knows what kind of things. And the other thing is everybody gets this sweet looking like Bandit Highwayman gear just for logging in the beta one time, and it's a costume, so you put it on over your gear, which means if you really like how it looks, I think as far as I've found out and what I've seen, you can keep this for the entire game. So if you guys are thinking about buying this, there is no reason not to, at the very least, log into the open beta one time so you get this awesome outfit. But anyway, there you guys go. I've showed you everything about the Wildstar open beta, what we have to look forward to. It seems to be a very feature-complete, promising MMORPG. And if you buy it, I hope to see you guys on there in the early days of June. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody.